I'm Evan Montgomery.
I'm Jeffrey Tang.
Stephan Cernak.
Michael Lally.
Lucas Levine.
And this is our presentation, Benny Goodman and Teddy Wilson, Changing the Face of Jazz.
Jazz. A musical melting pot of the soul where prejudices go to die. Jazz is credited with being among the first cultural entities to unite whites and blacks. As jazz developed, the white and black cultures developed different styles, and it was the uniting of these styles that allowed musicians to see that jazz was something bigger than themselves. The musicians realized that it didn't matter what color you were, as long as you were talented at your instrument. Eventually, as jazz gained more popularity, integration spread from outside the jam session into show business. This, at the time, unthinkable development was contingent on a groundbreaking decision that would change jazz forever. Benny Goodman's decision to perform with Teddy Wilson, a black pianist in Chicago, was a turning point as it broke the racial barrier of integrated jazz performance. I was in a big band back when all this was going on. I witnessed firsthand the introduction of Goodman and Wilson and watched as they grew more and more popular. I was even at their revolutionary performance at the Congress Hotel in Chicago. But we're not there yet. Let's take a trip back to one of my early jam sessions, back when tradition dictated that black and whites were to perform separately.
That was incredible. I love jamming with you cats. We could really go places. How's about we take this show to the road? What, you mean perform? Yeah, why not?
I love jamming with both of you, but I have a career to look out for. I mean, I'd be kicked out of the Dorsey band if I was seen playing with a Negro. Look, it's not that I have anything against you, it's just we wouldn't be taken seriously.
All right. I guess I'll just have to find some other swinging Negroes to play with.
Such was the case for most musicians. Though midnight jam sessions were often held with black and white musicians in big cities like New York and Chicago, the two races were never seen performing together. Although this might in part have been a result of racism for some musicians, it was more likely for fear of how the integration would be received by a public bound by tradition. This was all about to change. On a dark night in New York in 1934, a jam session was held, like on any other night. But no one expected what would take place afterwards. Benny Goodman, a famous clarinetist from Chicago, was there, along with a new guy on the scene, black pianist Teddy Wilson. We were all amazed at Wilson's skill, but Benny especially. I remember, like it were yesterday.
Hey, Ace, who's that cat on piano over there?
The cat on the piano? Oh, the Negro! That's Teddy Wilson. Want me to introduce you?
Yeah.
Hey, Teddy! Hey, come here.
All right, everybody take 5. How's it going?
Teddy, I'd like to officially introduce you to Mr. Benny Goodman here.
It's great to meet you. I heard you're playing and I was in awe. You're comping. It perfectly accented what we were doing, as if we were playing with the same brain.
Why, thank you. It's an honor, Mr. Goodman.
Please, call me Benny. Say, are you playing in a group these days?
I was with Benny Carter's Chocolate Dandies, but I'm not anymore.
How would you like to come and join me and Gene Krupa over there? I'm starting up a trio.
Be my pleasure, Mr. Goodman.
Benny.
The Benny Goodman Trio, comprised of Goodman on clarinet, Teddy Wilson on piano, and Gene Krupa on drums. They were unstoppable. They released an album, Body and Soul, which immediately received immense popularity. The group was called up for many touring opportunities, but Goodman declined all invitations, believing himself that performing with Wilson would be detrimental to his career as a performer. When his trio was invited to play alongside the Fletcher Henderson Big Band at the Congress Hotel in downtown Chicago, he was reluctant. It wasn't until the band received a letter from the show's promoter, Helen Oakley, that he finally changed his mind.
Hey, Benny. I just got a letter here from Helen Oakley, the show promoter for the Fletcher Henderson Big Band.
Oh, yeah?
She wants you to play a show with them.
Well, I'm always up for a gig with Fletcher. Where is it?
The Congress Hotel.
Oh, Chicago. I love playing in my hometown. Of course I'll do it.
I thought you'd be up for it. Here's the thing, though. She wants the whole trio.
The whole... Even Teddy? I've been over this so many times. To perform with him would destroy my reputation.
Benny, Helen thinks we should bring Teddy on, and I agree with her. He's such a skilled musician, he'd be a tremendous attraction.
I'm not such a fool. I'm making a hit here, and this is my career. I'm not going to put that on the line to introduce a black talent in the middle of it all.
Benny, this would be a great milestone in music. This is a good idea.
This is the Depression, mind you, and I'm doing fine. I'm not going to ruin my career for some dumb risk.
Benny, don't you be ungrateful to the culture that inspired you and made you love music. You love the black musicians. They're your greatest influence. You never cared about making an album with Teddy. Why not take the next step? Change the face of music.
Well, I guess if people actually saw how well we performed together, that might change their minds about integrated performance. I'll do it.
This decision was momentous. The trio went on stage and gave the first highly publicized integrated performance in the history of jazz, blazing a trail for what would soon become the norm in jazz. Benny Goodman's performance was very well received by most people and convinced many of those who were on the fence about integration. But despite the great reception by the crowd in Chicago, many band leaders were still hesitant to perform with black musicians.
Hey, did you hear about the Benny Goodman trio performance in Chicago?
With the Henderson Band? I sure did. Goodman's bold. He's bolder than me, at least. I never would have been able to perform with no Negro.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I have anything against blacks. It's just, this country would eat me alive.
But the Chicago crowd, they seem to be okay with Goodman's performance.
That's because they're the swingingest group around right now. They don't make any mistakes. Maybe that's the reason why people aren't taking this as bad as we thought they would. If the music's perfect, then who cares what the players look like?
Well, you can believe that as much as you want. But at the end of the day, America's still divided by prejudice. The music might be colorblind, but the country certainly is not.
The tentativeness of the other band leaders to follow in his footsteps did not perturb Benny Goodman's newfound high spirits, and he did not stop there. After his groundbreaking performance in Chicago, Goodman hired Lionel Hampton, a black vibraphonist from Alabama. This newly founded quartet toured all over the country, and people soon forgot about their prejudices as they were mesmerized by the perfect balance of musicality and feel in the quartet. The energy brought to the table by the quartet was amplified by their perfect playing.
Wow, just great show tonight, Teddy. I'm so glad that you're playing with us right now. I kick myself whenever I think about the fact that I almost didn't go through with it.
Benny, it's been such a great honor playing with you these past few months. They've all gone by in such a flash, I can't believe my luck. What you've done for me will provide opportunities for blacks in jazz forever, and hopefully within everyday life.
But Teddy, it wasn't just because of me. It was because of your amazing playing that people were able to lay aside their prejudice and just listen. They realized that it doesn't matter if I'm white and you're black. As long as we make great music, who cares what we look like?
No matter what negativity he received for this turning point in history, Benny Goodman always stood beside his band. The performance in Chicago was key in the eventual integration of music and, later, American society. People listened more and more and grew less concerned about race in music and just started seeing musicians. You see, jazz represented freedom and publicized the morals absent in society. Because of America's newfound sense of equality in music, the jazz scene saw more and more black musicians and more integration between them and prominent white musicians. The breaking of the racial barrier in jazz was an influential factor in the desegregation of America, and this could not have been possible without this turning point in history, the Benny Goodman Trio's performance in Chicago.